the ethical nuances and the legal nuances that cause the Bitcoin community to embrace proof of work.
Recently, Michael Saylor, the CEO of MicroStrategy, said that he will continue to buy Bitcoin whenever he has some spare cash. That just goes to show how confident he is about Bitcoin. Also, according to him, Bitcoin is the most certain thing in a very uncertain world. He'd also said that he'll keep buying even if it means buying at the top. MicroStrategy currently owns more than $3.9 billion worth of Bitcoin, and it makes them the biggest institutional shareholder of Bitcoin in the world. In a recent interview, Michael Saylor talked about why he's so confident about Bitcoin, his price predictions, and some other important things about the crypto and financial markets. If you want to hear Michael's comments on the current economic environment, then watch this video all the way to the finish, and don't forget to press the like button and share your thoughts on her interview. Now, let's take a look at it.
Did you think, even for a moment, that you'd be spending your days responding to letters from members of Congress and writing your own rebuttal to the EPA? Let's go to you, Michael, first.
It's just an opportunity to educate the world on the benefits of Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining. So when we started the BMC, we thought this is a new technology. The world doesn't really understand it. And someone needs to speak up, collect a few facts, and explain to the world just how efficient Bitcoin mining is and why it's good for the world, why it's good for the environment. So I see each one of these opportunities is just another point where the world stops and they get educated on Bitcoin. So I welcome the constructive engagement.
Just how many inaccuracies there were in the letter itself?
Well, I think a lot of people are still struggling to understand what Bitcoin mining is. And the concept of digital property or digital money or digital energy is such a paradigm shift that a lot of people have a hard time getting their hands around it. I think that the critical idea to understand, of course, is that we have a way to use energy and technology to create digital property. And that's proof of work mining. And then once you understand that, then everything else follows. The letter's based on the premise, the lack of understanding what digital property is. And if you don't understand that you need to use energy and semiconductor technology to create digital property, then everything else doesn't follow. I think that we've seen a lot of this FUD regurgitated over and over again. Comments like, it takes a lot of energy to process a transaction. They're just misperceptions, right? Because Bitcoin doesn't use energy to process transactions. It uses energy to secure the network and to create digital property. But I've said, if you don't spend 10 hours, you probably don't even understand what it is. And if you haven't spent 100 hours, you don't decently appreciate it. So most of the people in positions of power are being forced to have an opinion, but they don't have the time to study the underlying technology. And so they don't always pick up on the technical nuances, the ethical nuances, and the legal nuances that cause the Bitcoin community to embrace proof of work.
Saylor, were you at all surprised? Was there one particular inaccuracy other than the one we've covered there? Maybe it's that one, but was there one that really stuck out to you that you feel like you really want to nail down on and you feel like it's important for the people to have a better understanding around?
Well, I think the most important thing to be said is that Bitcoin mining is the cleanest, most efficient, most valuable use of energy in the world. Full stop. When people stop and they think about how we use energy, either any kind of energy, whether it's sustainable energy or fossil fuel energy, you realize you need it in medicine and retail and hotels, and you need it in planes and trains and automobiles and banking, and you need it in schools, and it's used in defense. It's used in everything of any consequence in the civilization. And in every place the energy flows, it's dirtier than Bitcoin mining. When it flows into Bitcoin mining, as Darren said, it just flows into a data center, and what you're getting is security for hundreds of billions of dollars of assets. In essence, you're just buying security for the network. and integrity such that you can create a digital asset that is censorship proof, nation state attack resistant, corporate attack resistant. And another way to say that is you've created tangible digital property that you could expect to exist with integrity over the course of hundreds of years. So that's the part that's just not understood, and everything that follows in the letter is, of course, just wrong, right? Right? The use of energy for transactions, the potential to generate any kind of waste, all of these things are just silly assertions, because if you understand that Bitcoin mining is used to create digital property that you can move at the speed of light on a computer in cyberspace, right? Once you understand that, then everything else kind of falls into place. And if you're an environmentalist, then of course every other thing in the universe is worse for the environment than to create a block of digital energy. Everything, right? So curtailing the creation of digital energy or digital property via Bitcoin mining is pretty much attacking the cleanest, most efficient, most valuable use of energy in the world.
And now we'll look at another one of his recent interviews where he raved about Bitcoin and its potential.
Where do you see this inflection point happening? What's going to be the catalyst for everybody to make this revelation?
First of all, everybody needs a certain thing in a very uncertain world. And if you look at what Bitcoin is, it's a network of $20 billion worth of mining hardware, burning billions of dollars of energy a year, very decentralized, distributed all around the world. It took us 13 years to get here. There's only one Bitcoin. And if you go to Davos, everybody's talking about the need for a new global money. How am I going to store my value? And they're debating, is it gold? Is it silver? What is it? And obviously, Bitcoin's the answer. So we have a solution to the world's problem. I think it's just a matter of taking a seat and letting things play out. All of these things are looking in the rear view mirror, but if you look forward, there's $300 trillion worth of currency derivatives, bonds, equities that are linked to currencies, other sorts of currencies. They've all got the same problem, which is the currencies are all weakening, either at a rapid rate or at an insane rate. And so Bitcoin's the solution to that problem. And we've simply got to wait until the world discovers it. So education, I think, is going to drive adoption. Well, a lot of times people focus on the weeks, but if you actually look at the last 2 years, you could say the world is catching up. 2 years ago, we hit a COVID crisis, and since then, the U.S. money supply expanded by 36%. Bitcoin's up 229%. Gold, the NASDAQ, and the S&P have all underperformed the expansion of the U.S. money supply. So over a 2-year, a 4-year, a 6-year, and 8-year time frame, Bitcoin's outperforming everything. I think if you look out another 2 to 4 years, it's going to continue to perform, and there'll be some volatility in the near term, but I think that's the price you pay for the performance